everyone. This is Brother Benson, and I'm joined here with my good brother Miguda. Miguda, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine. I'm managing very well.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe you.
I'm okay. How was your weekend?
My weekend was kind of good because
Mm,
we managed to have, after Sabbath, we managed to have Premier League, but we tried, we drew, and so far, so good.
Oh, your team was playing the Premier League.
Yeah,
Which your team is what? Manchester United or Arsenal?
Manchester United was playing.
Did they win or no?
They drew.
Oh, they and Arsenal too drew with Sunderland because I'm not a very
Um,
mm,
Arsenal 2 drew with Sunderland, Man United drew with Tottenham, and
mhm.
they were 2-2.
Arsenal were 2-2.
Arsenal 2-2, Man U, and Tottenham also 2-2.
Oh, okay. All right. So that is
So,
in the world.
like, it was a weekend of draws for the big boys.
So which means the Man U fans were very happy. Arsenal too were very. What about Chelsea? Because like I remember also Chelsea.
Chelsea won 3. Actually, Chelsea won 3-0.
Oh, okay.
But our good friends team Liverpool for Gyps Corner,
Hmm.
they conceded.
They conceded a goal.
Yeah,
They were playing in Anfield or they were playing away.
they're playing. They're playing Anfield against Manchester City.
Where they
Manchester
cannot.
City won. Manchester City won against them 3-0.
Oh, where they say we cannot. I hope Gypsy Corner was here and at least to explain to us what happened where you cannot walk alone. You can now. You are working with gold. So okay, that's good to hear. What about the Kenya Premier League
Okay,
side? Hmm?
very good question. Kenya Premier League. Yesterday, Gor Mahia were playing against Kenya Police,
Yeah.
and they won 2-0 against
Mm,
Kenya Police at Nyayo Stadium.
mm,
Since Raila died, they have been winning.
yeah.
Yeah, so that spirit is still there,
Yeah.
and they're currently they're in the top of the league
All right.
from
Uh,
number 4.
okay. Thank you. Gypsy Corner is here.
Yeah.
You said how the team lost and
I,
they
I
conceded.
never wanted I never wanted to talk about it yesterday, but at least today, yesterday I just ignored it deliberately because the other day we
Yeah.
tried to talk about we told Barack to cool down. So I was like, okay, yesterday I never talked about it. I just wanted to, but I thought I thought we were two of us here.
Yeah. So so both of you are Manchester United fans yesterday, or what happened?
Okay, I'm saying
Yeah.
Jeep's Corner
Hmm.
is a Liverpool fan.
Yeah.
I think lifetime.
Mm.
Barack, myself, Marco Bura,
Mm.
and Joseph, all are Manchester United fans.
Uh,
I don't know how it happens that all the panelists, in exception of you, all of the
yeah.
panelists are Manchester United. And also Judith Karuita is an Arsenal fan.
Yes.
So what happens is
Uh,
that we drew, Man U drew, Arsenal drew, but
mm,
Liverpool have been losing of late. I don't know what's happening with their team. So
yeah.
yesterday they played 3 goals to Manchester City.
So look at. Okay. All right. So all right. I will start to develop interest, especially to start following Premier League and look at the big. Why have you brought this one up? No, we
I
Philip
really,
met
I, re-
Chelsea all the way. So
I
Chelsea.
really tried. I really tried to avoid it yesterday. I really tried for the entire. I don't know why we have asked that question from the beginning today.
The reason why I was just asking you the weekends because I'm usually very sure that you're a person who usually follows the Premier League. I know you're a Man U supporter. I know Barack, Gypsy too. I actually know that you are. And Philip also is telling me Chelsea all the way. I know Chelsea won. Laban Misiani, I hope. Which team is you? You and as you tell us your team. Also, so I wanted to know how your weekend was, all of you, and so that before we continue discussing.
What about, let us now discuss this one. What about Gor Mahia, the local, leave alone that Premier League. That is for the English people.
Yeah,
Gor Mahia won. Gor Mahia won against Police.
yeah. They scored 2 goals, right?
Yeah, 2 goals,
Yeah,
clean sheet.
yeah. So I usually follow the highlights, but like I'm not so much interested in the Premier League, but like at some point I would follow the highlights of both the English Premier League, the local Premier League too. But because I usually know how our panelists they have their own Premier League personal team, so that's why like every weekend I would come and ask how was your weekend, how did your team perform, and all that. And eh, 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 I love Gor Mahia FC and Liverpool. Okay, thank you so much. Ben, I'm a Liverpool diehard. Oh, so you the Laban Misiani and the Gypsy, you are in the same. Never walk alone. The only maybe before we go into the only player that I know in Liverpool for the longest time. I know that right now he's not playing. The Steven Gerrard. Yes. I know Steven Gerrard for Liverpool. At Ben, I'm at home. I am Shabana diehard. Yes. Shabana too is a very good team.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
doing
Shaban is a very good team of late. Shaban is one of the strongest team in Kenya Premier
Premier
League.
League.
One of the best
Yeah.
team.
Yes, and I know they will create impact, so it will even bring good entertainment in the Premier League industry, especially. I supported AFC Leopards in the 80s because of Mickey Weche, who was a friend. When when I think of AFC Leopards, I think of Matthew Otomax. When I read that is the Matthew Otomax was AFC Leopards goalkeeper, right? Gypsy, can you really assist us here?
80s, I was not there. Maybe
As somebody who
they could
loves,
assist.
you have to know, you have to look at digger history and at least have some history about this Premier League, because I know Matthew Watermark. Then later there was a friend of mine who was playing for Joaquin Satudo. That also was a good friend of mine. He used to play for FC Leopards, and I think he played in Liverpool for long. Um, and Sony, who do I remember? You know, Sony. No,
Cisse. In Sony, there was one called Cisse.
yeah. Oh, she said, yeah.
Uh,
Oh, yeah.
and
Thank you so
Owin. Somebody by the name Owin. I don't know. The Calabar.
Oh, Calabar. Gypsy Coin is telling me, brother Benson Media, please join Liverpool FC. Yeah, I will start to, and I will have to. What I need to do, need to sit down and start to develop interest and look at how they play and know the rules of the game. Look at the big commentators in the football, and I will start now. Then I can decide to join a team. Okay, thank you so much, brothers and sisters, for taking your time to join us this evening. I hope and I believe your weekend was a good one. And today we've lost one of the gospel musician. I think you know her very well. That is Betty Bayo. Betty Bayo was in the gospel industry, and she lost her battle. Is it cancer? That is, I think is leukemia cancer. I think is something to do with the blood, if I'm not wrong. So she lost her battle today at Kenyatta National Hospital, where the families and friends gathered to break the news. We would want to take this opportunity to say sorry for the family, and we pray for God to give them strength, and also to the gospel industry. Also, we send our condolences to them. Mr. Miguda, what do you have to say? Okay, I think I lost Miguda. So that is also what happened. We're also getting news. I don't know how true is that. I was reading somewhere whereby they were saying like the officers from ICC were denied access in Tanzania. Remember, what happened, the post-election violence in Tanzania, and they were there to take note and what usually happen with ICC. And also we are talking about Tanzania. Remember, there are almost around 21 people, the young people, who have been charged by with the treason. Especially there's a business lady called Nifa. She's charged just because he told people to buy the mask on her shop so that they can use them, or kuzuia bomu, then that's why she has been charged by treason. And that one, still tell you, especially if you look at Tanzania, where they are, and how will they get that space. And even those who participated in the protest, it tells about the democracy of East Africa. There's so much to learn, or there's so much to study, especially in East Africa, uh, when we are looking at in terms of political processes and creating that democracy that people want. And we will also dive into the interview that the president had with Al Jazeera. There's some of the things that president said that also. If we look at what we call the so-called democracy, that some even last week we had a conversation about the democracy of Africa. Is it really a democracy? Because democracy is usually the will of the people, where even the minority, their voices should be given that space to speak. And if it reaches a point whereby those who with the dissenting opinions are not given the opportunity to speak, then do we call that one democracy really? The democracy that we are looking for in the East Africa? And something also that we also have to make. Good, are you back?
Yeah, I'm back. I'm back.
Okay, something also we have also to talk about is the role of the President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, especially when it comes to diplomacy of our country. Uh, because we had Museveni, the president of Uganda, was having an interview, and there's something that he said, and about the diplomacy and how do we our relations, the foreigners of our country, how they the how are the people who are mandated, especially when it comes to issues that are dealing with foreign matters, how do it work, especially between the governments, whereby it comes that you find that the former head of state is kind of like more powerful, or is given a listening ear, you know. So what should even government learn from him? So that is something that also I noticed. There's a comment that Cherargei made, especially for the wanaharakati, uh, and he advised President Yoweri Museveni wakienda huko wasirudishwe, and this is your country, it still tells on how the leadership that we have, can we accommodate, can we accommodate each other's views, how can we accommodate and at least um, you know give them their listening ear. If you don't agree with them, don't agree with them, but do not um, dismiss them. Miguda, thank you so much for coming back. Um, uh, yes, I watched the interview Ruto gave to Al Jazeera English, and I literally choked on my dinner. I tell you, there's so much that was in that interview. Um, so many. If you go to comment section, quite a number of people are commenting, and you would get the sense of how people felt about that interview. Yes, Miguda.
Hello.
Yes, I'm getting
I haven't heard you very well.
I talked of Betty Bayo. Betty Bayo was a gospel musician. She lost life today. And so many people are sending their condolences. That's how we say that. We are also, as a channel, we are praying with the families and giving prayers, and may God give them strength at this time. At Brother Benson Ben, if activism can improve economy, it will be good to our country. Yes, it can. but it depends on how both the parties that are doing activism and those are being corrected, how are they handling it? If both of them, although the party get it wrong, then it will not improve the economy. If both the parties get it right, then the economy of the country will improve. That is what I believe. Yes, Miguda.
Okay, I just want also to join the channel by condoling with the family of Betty Bayo, and also just want to convey my condolence and may her soul rest in eternal peace. That's the best we can do for a departed soul whenever there is one, because that is the way. And we just hope for the best for the people who have remained behind, and also the cancer's been one of the deadly diseases of late, and many people actually are
Yeah.
victims. Many people are victims. So that's my statement. Secondly, the issue of activism, I just want to air my view that we understand that different states are sovereign, and mostly they do their politics internally and they do their governance internally. The independence of the sovereign state, whereby the non-interference by other states. And that's why we could not do much to assist our people in Tanzania when they were being butchered by the state, and we had no capacity to enter into their internal affairs. But even if they are doing it wrongly, it was quite impossible for us. There's no way. And we saw what happened, that the ICC officials who were actually directed to go and carry out some investigation were denied an access to the state. That is how. And remember, people are saying maybe it's a rumor. It's not a rumor. For you to be charged in the International Criminal Court for any person, there must be a connection and there must be a recognition of the international laws by your laws. Like in our case, we recognize that the international laws and international treaties form part and parcel of the laws of Kenya, and they
Yeah.
are recognized. And secondly, our parliament sat down in their own wisdom and said that we should not be vague, we should go to The Hague. It was deliberate by parliament that we go. So the Kenyan state actually with the ICC, they align to their instruction. That's why Loe Moreno Campo was given access to come to the Kenya by the then prosecutor who came and carry out investigation. Then
Yeah.
later Kenyan suspects were charged at the ICC. But if there is no cooperation between the state and the ICC, there's no way they can access. Remember, there are many cases whereby the ICC has tried to give direction, maybe they should arrest or apprehend the Russian president, but they haven't been taken in action because there is no connection and the countries have refused to access. So the fact that the Tanzanian state have refused to align with the ICC direction, you cannot do anything about them because they are sovereign state. That's why I'm telling you, even if you are an activist from this country and or from the Kenyan or Tanzanian territory, if you want to go to another territory, you are at liberty to do whatever you can do, but you cannot influence much the internal affairs of that country. And in terms of diplomatic relations, there should not be threat, or maybe what Cherei was saying, that if you see anybody coming to interfere with their peace, do whatever. No, there's how you can handle people in a different. Because remember, even the other time, other citizens can come to Kenya here, and if you remember what, so that's why people should be handled diplomatically, and that's why we have the international and nations relation. So basically, I just want to say that active is good, but to me, I believe that it has limitation whereby you have to, even if you are doing it, you have to understand that the state is sovereign, and the state, you can't interfere with the internal affairs. It's up to them to to decide on how they want. That's why even in terms of constitutions, it's
Yeah.
how the state write their own constitution. Even when we had crisis or crisis in this country most of the time, you saw Senator Cruz used to come to Kenya, but it could not influence that much. It's up to when Raila and Ruto were put together by Olusegun Obasanjo, and they sat together, they agreed on the NADCO report. Vis-a-vis, remember Uhuru and Raila. You understand that Uhuru is the one who influenced Raila to go for handshake with Uhuru Kenyatta at the Arambe Avenue the president office. So sometimes no one can actually interfere with the sovereign and your decision as the state unless you invite them the way we invited Kofi Annan, who came and they mediate between the parties who are in conflict. So basically, I just want to say that we are sovereign, the same way we are sovereign, the same way Tanzanians are sovereign and Ugandans. Therefore, if we are doing our activism, we should concentrate more majorly in our country. But if you go beyond the border, you cannot influence much into the internal affairs.
Thank you so much. And the other day we were talking about that the same. And when you talk about this sovereign, take a case like in Tanzania, they have the way they do their politics and they have the laws that govern them. And this one also depend with the administration that is in place. And same as Uganda, the administration in place, and also you have to look at the journey that each and every country have traveled in terms of opening political space, especially like things to do with activism itself and even free expression of speech and and that space that we are talking about. You find that as much as we might still say that we've not actualized that democracy of especially we to be very precise in Kenya, but like if you look at the journey that Kenya has traveled and the space that has been created, especially in terms of expression or in terms of the laws and the constitutionalism and constitutionality and the constitution itself, that we are at a better place as compared to some of these East Africa states, So I agree with you as we may be going and championing for the other human rights in other territories. We also have to bear in mind the person that you might be dealing with. For instance, you cannot compare the space that we have in Kenya and the space that we have in Uganda. That is one. Then secondly, remember you're also visiting another territory. It is okay to do, but you should be cognizant, or you should know that who is this person that I'm dealing with. So that is something that it should be known. At Brother Becherarge was right because he is a lawyer and understand foreign relations affair better than us. Yeah, that is Miguda. Do we have foreign affairs activism? Laban is asking for that. There's also something that Gibson Connor asked about. Who is Betty Bayo? Betty Bayo was she's a gospel musician. If she was married to Pastor Kanyari. I think she was the first wife of Pastor Kanyari. I think they have like 2 kids with Pastor Kanyari, and they divorced at some point. Then Betty went her way and married. I think he married somebody by the name Hiram. I'm not very sure. So, but she was a gospel musician. I think it was in the year 2000, in the 2000s. She was, they were the most influential gospel musicians by then. And secondly, she was married to Pastor Kanyari then they divorced. So I hope with that, it can shed more light, especially to that. That's the way to go. Thank you so much, Ted Festive. That's the way to go. Thank you so much for your comment. And as we said, as a channel, we take this time to also to pray with, send our prayers to the family of Betty Bayo, to family, friends, and the entire gospel industry for the loss that they have experienced. You are welcome, Mr. Gibson Connor. Miguda, there's something here that is disturbing me, and I want you also to at least share with me what you think, especially the issue of Kalonzo. Few months ago, it was alleged that the allies of President were owing Kalonzo so that Kalonzo can come to their side in terms of politics. And you can even remember when President visited some county, say that the reason why maybe they're not getting those development is because of Kalonzo is not on his side. But this weekend, we witnessed a situation whereby some good number of president allies, including also some in ODM, not even once, but they've discredited Kalonzo Musyoka, sometimes saying that they bring in the issue of 207. But what they don't tell you, they don't tell you how Kalonzo has supported Baba like 3 times, including the 2022 that he went to into an interview knowing very well that Martha Karua was going to be the running mate of the Right Honorable Prime Minister, because they remember there's an interview he had and he said that Prime Minister like informed me before even going through that. They went with Junet Muhammad, they went to Kalonzo Musyoka, and Raila himself talked to him and he told him, okay, you can just go through that, but you're not going to be the running mate. Why are they forgetting this? And why, if they saw what happened, especially I think this was when it is settled on what the good things that Mama Ida said about Kalonzo Musyoka. And if you listen to Arun Cheruyot even with Kimani Chungwa, and you look at the clips, then even when Kimani Chungwa was sometimes saying that we tutakupeleka Bondo, and we cannot take off your life. You remember those? And I can remember very well how Kimani Chungwa used to attack the Right Honorable Prime Minister. But today, when you listen to them, the people who are talking that they supported the Right Honorable Prime Minister even more than Kalonzo. What is your take on that?
Okay, before I dive into the issue of Kalonzo, first, Laban Misiani has asked me a very good question on the foreign activism. I just want to say, when I was making my submission, I was very clear that there is limitation. And I never said there is foreign activism, and I don't support that one, because I also specify on the internal affairs of different states. What we have is what we call extradition, whereby there can be a request by a state to bring back the people back at home. So when they can be extradited back to their country, and also sometimes some can be deported back if they are considered to be causing other activities which are not consistent with the constitution of the laws of the land. They can be deported back. Also, there is issue of also a citizen can decide to get a refugee outside this country, and also the government can decide to send someone into exile. So what I was trying to explain is that whenever you receive any foreign citizen, you must protect the right of that foreign citizen in any circumstances. The protection of the human rights. Whenever there are foreigners in this country, and maybe they are some came as activists, we can deport them back, or we can collide with the other state to extradite them back, or as well, they came here as exiles, they went back to their country. We can guarantee them the refugee rights so that they can be refugees into our country or asylum seekers. So what I was trying to state is that even if all these things happen, but the people's rights should not be violated in circumstances. If Kenyans are in Uganda and Tanzania, their rights should not be violated. If Tanzanians and Ugandans are here in Kenya, their rights should not be violated. Their rights should be protected, irrespective of where they are. But I'm not advocating for the foreign activism. The issue of Kalonzo Musyoka has just been a victim of circumstances, and just have to live with it, because that is the character he has actually made in the political equation in this country. Remember, Kalonzo Musyoka supported Moi Kibaki, and Kalonzo Musyoka also supported Raila Odinga in 13, 17, 2022. But the political elites select each and every event where it is convenient for them. So if Kalonzo collaborates with them, Kalonzo will be praised in accordance with the event whereby he has collaborated with them. But in any case, Kalonzo differ and take another route. They will also always refer to him on his previous mistakes, like or on his previous stance. Like for instance, right now the ODM people, after Kalonzo was welcomed that people were saying that he has been the longest friend of Baba politically, because even support base 13, 17, and 2022. And when he was welcome at Opoda Farm, people were saying like either said that friendship cannot be wiped away, and also Ruth also tried like they can work with Kalonzo. James Orengo also said they can work with Kalonzo. So people saw it, okay, it's look like these low people want to align with the Kalonzo. But politics is also about perception. But that's not the reality. We know where the low people are going to vote. So what happened is Kalonzo, they want to outrule whatever he did at Opoda Farm, that irrespective of whatever he did to Raila after his death, he caused Raila's presidency 2007. Now they want to remind Raila's supporters, forget about this guy. These guys made us lose election in 2007. Number two, you have heard them saying that Kalonzo has been just escorting Raila. In 13, 17, 22, he just escorted Raila. But Ruto fight for Raila. Ruto is a fighter, a warrior, who fought for Raila to an extent that he was charged with crimes against humanity at ICC because of Raila. To an extent that he was going to be hanged because of Raila. So they are saying, okay, if you want a man who fought for you to an extent that he was ready to lose his life, is William Ruto. But in circumstances, Kalonzo has supported Raila. There hasn't been any equation of hanging Kalonzo or maybe charging him with anything. Or when Raila was doing the mock swearing in, Kalonzo was not there in the stadium. So they are saying, okay, this person has not been in the Baba the way Ruto tried for Baba. So that's how the perception they want to create into their supporters, what ODM are creating. But that is politics. And also Ruto said, you company, Kalonzo is misleading you. Come, we work together so that we can be government. Let Kalonzo not take you to opposition. I think sometimes as politicians, you apply what conveniently work for you to drive the perspective of the audience. And when it works, also you want to rubbish what your opponent has done previously. Maybe if your opponent was getting some mileage, like what Kalonzo was getting mileage when he went to a Poda farm, they want to rubbish it out. That, okay, even if he has done all those XYZ, but the fact remains, it cost Raila's presidency in 2007. So generally, I want to say Kalonzo is just a victim of circumstances. Either comes, still he will be criticized. And at the same time, it's also a defining factor. Because if Kalonzo joins Kasongo today, done deal. So it's a defining factor. At the same time, it's a victim of circumstances. Now, being Kalonzo is not easy in the current politics of this country. And Kalonzo as a man has to make a decision. That's why he was tagged watermelon, because sometimes you understand what those names comes with. I believe it's high time for Kalonzo to make a decision as a man and stand his ground. And whatever comes, whatever the stray bullets comes, he's ready to accommodate and move on as a country.
Thank you so much, Migoda. So, and you know, it's something that we will continue to have discussion, because when you look at what happened even in 2007, one thing that you have to remember was that Kalonzo was running as an independent candidate. He was a presidential candidate, and that was the first time that Kalonzo Musyoka was running for a presidential candidate. Since then, he has never, Kalonzo Musyoka has only ran for presidential candidate once, and that was in 2007. And remember, what happened was that immediately after the election, you know, after the voting and the result came out, you know, he had a choice of himself where to go, where his interests could be catered. Because, like, if you look at when he joined, majority of his allies were given spaces in the government. People like Mutula Kilonzo, remember, he was given the education minister, if I'm not wrong. Quite a number of his allies. And that was a decision. And the decision that he made, we've also seen this kind of decision being made, especially after election, especially after election has been won. Those who do the pre-pack. Does it mean that if you do this pre-pack, then you become a betrayer? or what happens?
I'm not seeing it as a betrayal because I've told you,
Yeah,
politics is always about interest.
yeah,
I do not know that if my interest is served, I've betrayed person X. But if my interest is not served, I've not betrayed person Y. So it's quite difficult to make it have clarity. But all in all, Kalonzo, like people, like what Laban told you that he was paying for 207, 28. Remember, there were some legislatures who were saying Kalonzo will pay until he goes down to his grave because they were saying 13 and 17 supported Raila. They never won. 17, he was not proposed as the running mate. They never won. And even after Raila, he stopped his tour to the United States of America and come back. He came back to Kenya and stopped going to mobilize funds for his campaigns. So that one, he was still paying. And even after they were buried Raila, he went there with 100 cattle because culturally, many a times people do go with not more than maybe three cows, maybe even culturally customary. People are being married with 30 cows or 40 cows, but someone who is going to marry with 100 cows or maybe going to mourn with 100 cows, it's something out of the context culturally. But all in all, you find out that people are saying, this is now not me saying, people are saying that he's still paying what he did to Raila. And they're saying he will still pay more. So there are some things that if you have an opportunity in this life to do something right, just do it right. Because if you do it wrong, you might pay until you go to your eternal place for resting. But if you do right, you'll have no issues to pay back. I think they are trying to say that this payback time, you know, this politics, you cannot control how Kalonzo move his cards when you are not at that level. Maybe to him, this is the best he can move his cards, but you can propose or you can view, like we can view as spectators that, okay, maybe one or two people should be benched, but we don't know what's happening in that squad. So I believe that Kalonzo Kalonzo has found himself in that in that scenario. So he had got no option but to live with it. He had got no option but to accommodate those stray bullets, like I've told you, because that is who he is. That's what he has created. But remember, even if you say that, what is wrong with someone having pre or post pact? To me, even what we have right now is post. Even what Uhuru and Raila had, you can decide to work in parliament. Also, you can decide to work in the executive, or you can decide to work as a political parties. When Kalonzo joined Mwai Kibaki in 2007, they said if Kalonzo could have joined Raila, they could have impeached Mwai Kibaki. That has been the argument. What if Raila, the peacemaker we know, could have declined to impeach Kibaki and decided just to work with Kibaki because already Kibaki has been declared and he has taken the oath of office. So still, I just want to make it look like Kalonzo has find himself into where he is. So it's up to him to live with the realities that people are trying to address towards him.
Okay, thank you so much, Miguda, for that. But it's a discussion that maybe sometimes we can. Eric, thank you so much. Eric Osera, thank you so much for that. There's something that we should look at, and as much as we know that the politics is interest, and we also have to give credit where it is due. Despite the fact that maybe if today you disagree with him because maybe his interest is not with you, but you have to give credit, you know to where it is due, because if you look at it keenly, even to I think to the people who are very close to the Mama Ida, and to the Jaramogi's family, especially when you come to the Raila families, I don't think like you can compare sacrifice that Kalonzo has made as compared to what Aaron Cheruiyot was saying, that he's the first person to vote for ODM from councillor to the presidency. You know, I don't think that one can even, if you compare those two sacrifices, and you have to look at how many comments, especially when it comes to the political insults that have happened, that you've talked about the Right Honorable Prime Minister. So many of them. I can remember even in one of the session. Some of these leaders who are talking of how the people who came up for ODM, how some of the words that they spoke, especially concerning Baba, then it is that like if they have to do campaigns, let us just do a very good campaign. But like to say that this is that people will decide. If people feel that His Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka did a betrayal, is a political perception. He will come out and defend that. But on the records, for 15 years, Kalonzo Musyoka has stood. And even if you look at there was a time when the Right Honorable Prime Minister, especially that is the last time he talked about Kalonzo. If you go into those meetings, he said that Kalonzo is far much better than some of these leaders. That is the words of the Right Honorable Prime Minister at some point, But that is politics because he went to Bondo. But to me, I feel that when we're looking at in the political scenario without even taking sides, I feel that despite the fact that that one happened in 2007, but the sacrifice that he has made, especially, is as compared to some of these leaders who are talking about him and maybe discrediting him. It's just like political perception. We know, and everybody has a right. There are those who have a right to support President William Ruto. Is it within their right? And you cannot say that it is wrong to support President William Ruto. It depends on what you're looking for. And if all that President Ruto is offering, you feel is the best for you, yes. And those who feel like what President Ruto is doing is not their cup of tea, also you cannot force them to do that. And that's how politics work. You cannot have everybody on your side. So that is something that we have to know. Then, Miguda, let me come to
before you proceed. Yeah. I also think that maybe the people are trying to focus on the one side of the coin. We should look at the both sides of the coin. Also, we should have both stories. We should not focus on one story. Because remember even Ruto, when Ruto left Raila and joined Uhuru Kenyatta, Ruto also denied Raila presidency in 2013 because he went to Uhuru's camp with those massive votes, and Raila was never declared. And the same Ruto also is the person who initiated the slogan Mganga Mchawi towards Raila Odinga. Before, no one used to call Raila Mganga Mchawi. So before we be the foot soldiers trying to defend William Ruto and castigating Kalonzo for betrayal of 2007, even if today we decide to support Kalonzo, we'll shift focus to Ruto that, okay, you left Raila in 2013, you supported Uhuru Kenyatta, you denied Raila Odinga presidency in 2013, and also you are the initiator of the Mganga Mchawi. And so that's why I told you it's about politics and perception. So the problem is Kalonzo lacks the foot soldiers to respond to these people. But if these people are attacking Kalonzo of 2007, the same people should also attack William Ruto of 2013. The same people should also attack William Ruto on Mganga and Mchawi as these people attacking Kalonzo on Atiale alisindikiza tu 2013, 17, 22 yeye kazi yake alikuwa anasindikiza tu baba. They should also attack William Ruto ya kwamba kwa nini aku kuja asindikize baba 13 and 17 and alienda kusupport Uhuru Kenyatta. So you see, that's why I told you that Kalonzo amekuwa mtu weak he doesn't want to come out. He should understand this is politics. When your
Yeah.
opponents is playing for you, attacking, you also have to change the tactics and
Yeah.
stop defending all the time. Also, you attack, and you should have your full soldiers who should respond to them, because Ruto is not speaking here. It is the
Yeah.
ODM brigade trying to attack Kalonzo on those allegations. Kalonzo should have the wiper to respond to those boys that even if you are saying XYZ,
Yeah.
but who left Raila and went and joined Uhuru Kenyatta
Yeah.
and supported Uhuru Kenyatta, and Raila was never declared the president in 2013.
You know,
Who
I,
actually
I, I,
brought this issue?
yeah,
So I think we should consider on both stories.
mhm.
Let us not focus on one story. Then we conclude that Kalonzo betrayed Baba. Then that is the end of it. Full stop. No questions, no comments. No, we should just open it for a discussion whereby we look at both sides of the coins and
All
we
right.
come to conclusion. Or we get the hypothetical part of it.
Okay, I agree with you 100%. And this one comes to especially those who are handling Kalonzo Musyoka political journey, especially going towards 2027. It is that time because, like, politics is all about perception and the propaganda. Any mistake that with they deem feel to be mistake, that one will be used against you. So, and I think like it is that time that Kalonzo also now should come out and at least talk about some other tangible issues that people would talk about. Like for me, I can be very precise and I can be I can say some of the things that because we've been in this politics and as much as we are in the political arena and we are seeing some leaders talking about what they're talking about even right now ODM and even how the praise they're giving. But to me, I know for sure that it's not coming from their heart. It's more of political. Yeah, it's more of political because, like, to be sincere, I've never ever since I started to follow the politics of Kalonzo Musyoka, when I developed interest in politics, there is no any other place that I've had, especially even if Kalonzo disagreed with Baba, that Kalonzo has insulted the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga. I've never heard of that. I've never heard. Maybe if you have a clip, you cannot say if you have a clip anywhere where the Kalonzo Musyoka even is insulting Baba. Remember, there's so many times that Baba has always made decisions, especially even look at what happened when Baba joined hands with the Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. It was something that came by surprise to many, which means even Kalonzo, who was the running mate of Baba, could have been aware of what is taking place. Remember, even when the one for the the Right Honorable Prime Minister and President William Ruto was taking place, majority of the Azimio members were not aware that such like issues were being strike. But what did Kalonzo do? And remember when Baba joined hands with President William Ruto, Kalonzo did not agree with that, and he disagreed respectfully. Yeah, and there is no way did Kalonzo say something that I think was demeaning to the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga until his death. That is something that I can for sure. But we've seen some of the leaders who today are praising the Right Honorable Prime Minister at his death. What they said about that man, I tell you, if you go and play those tapes or those clips, I tell you, it will tell you how our politics is, and it will tell you how the politics they are praising, right, the Right Honorable Prime Minister is not very genuine and is not very truthful. That one I'm very for sure, and that is something that somebody cannot take away from. I know those who are very genuine with Baba based on how they've treated Baba, in the surface, I'm not saying that internally, but we've seen some of the leaders, the comments they've made about Baba during his time, including even the majority leader in the Senate. You can play those clips. And even the minority leader in the National Assembly, everything they said about Baba. But today, the people who talk about Baba, like Baba was a very good person, you know. So um, uh, those are some of the issues that even if we castigate, we talk ill about Kalonzo, His Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka, for betraying Baba, we also have to mention those who did not talk or insulted Baba too. So because it's politics. So that is what we are talking about. So we cannot just put everything into blanket and say Kalonzo. No, no, that is not true. But politics is like that. People every have interest, and that is what to me I feel like when we are having podcasts like this, we have also to tell this. You know. Tell this. At Goodyear, 2 term is really yes. Laban, as we have always said, the Constitution of Kenya. The good thing with our Constitution is this: one, it has given everybody freedom to associate, freedom of association. Freedom of association. Our Constitution has given us that. You can associate with anybody you want. That freedom is there. Me good am I like? And freedom of assembly. And the freedom to associate, it means you can associate by joining any political party. And the Constitution also allow for the 2 term and 1 term. Those things are real because the Constitution of Kenya will allow you, first of all, right now, when people will be going for 2027 general election, President William Ruto will have to submit a certificate for IBC to clear him to run for that seat. Meguda, you'll correct me if I'm wrong. So that one means President William Ruto will fighting for his 2nd term. And that is 2 term you're talking about is real because he has to fight for it. If he doesn't fight for it, he's not going to get it. At the same time, those who are calling for 1 term, they also have to prove a point. They also have to find a way of beating President William Ruto. And beating President William Ruto, it will not be by a word of saying. It will require strategy. Remember, he enjoys incumbency. He enjoys all the resources of the state as its disposal, you know. So let them not just say 2 term, 1 term. They have to prove that 1 term because Ruto is not like something that you will just move from point A to point B. It will require a lot of resources. It will require a lot of strategy and a lot of thinking. If they do, if they don't come with very good strategy, President William Ruto will beat them early in the morning. If they don't come with very good strategy, that is something that I'm telling the United Opposition. They have to know that. You can say all these things about President William Ruto and all that, but if you don't have a proper ways on how do you want to make sure that you defeat Ruto in the polls, then I tell you, you will be surprised that by around in the evening, President William Ruto will be the president again. So they also have to work hard. We good?
Yeah, I agree with you. And my good friend, our good friend, Laban Misiani, has been a very consistent supporter of the current president. And I'm happy because that is his right. Is at liberty to do so. And there's some of us who have also tried to get overhaul of the whole system. And there are some people also who are pro 1 term. So everybody has his own. Like we have very many. There are people who have third, fourth, whatever, and even people like Kuru Akot are there. So we have many people. So each and every bird must just sing the songs it understands better. And the freedom of association, the good thing with us in Kenya, and let me tell you, we are a bit ahead of the Tanzania and Uganda, for sure. Yeah. And the people who brought Indian constitution devolution, these people really assisted this country in East Africa and wametuchanua sana. So you find out that we can associate freely, we can enjoy political rights like a right to join a political party, a right to defect, a right to associate with anybody, and no one should choose for you that associate only with the president. No, you can even associate with Wajakoya. That is your right.
Yeah.
And you're at liberty to do it politically. And you will find that some of these basic rights and fundamental freedoms actually are not in Tanzania and are not in Uganda. It's not in their constitution. So that's why if you see them carrying out the active that way, you have to understand them. And the problem is Kenya's activity is not that in this world, every state is like Kenya. They don't understand that we have different states, we have different laws, we have different jurisdiction, applicability of the laws. So until you understand that, not that every state looks like Kenya. Kenya, we are sovereign, we are independent, we have our laws. And the issue of 2-term and 1-term, the fundamental part of it is that during elections, even if I'm the incumbent, I must submit to the IBC again.
Yes.
So by the time I'm finishing my first term, 1 term, now it is not guaranteed that I'm not going to be cleared by IBC because I'm the president. We are going to start afresh. So it means right now, William Ruto is 1 term. For him to get 2nd term, everybody must go to IBC for clearance. We go there, we cleared. So if he got re-election, that will be his 2nd term. But if he's not re-elected, he could have finished his 1st term. But the person who comes is coming as 1st term. So in Kenyan constitution, 1 term and 2 term is guaranteed because each and every term is independent and exclusive, whereby all of us, we start afresh. That, okay, we have done the election, we are going to submit our papers or our qualification to the IBC. So Mr. President must look for 2nd term, just like the opposition are looking for 1 term. So it's a new term for everybody. This term we are going, it is not that Ruto is now having it at all. No, it's a new term for everybody.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
That day when he was being interviewed recently, that Ruto said that there is no way someone can get 96% of the votes, even though he doesn't understand democracy. So even him, he understands that. And he said that Kenyan election, no one can get that percentage because of our constitution. That shows how William Ruto was appreciating our constitution. Our constitution, it is 50+1, and there's no way you can exceed even 90 or 70. It's quite not easy because of the type of competitive we have in this country. And now the issue of elections. When it comes to elections, because even me, I'm a real thinker. I think on real time. Ruto is not an easy person to be moved into office. That's a fact. And even based on circumstances, Ruto cannot just leave power like that. You know Ruto. He can rather die hanging in that power. So what do you do if you want to remove William Ruto? You must be calm, strategic, and also shelve all your ambitions and selfishness and so-called tribal politics, and bring a formidable team that resonates with the Kenyan people. And Kenyan people can decide in one unison that 1 term. But these issues whereby some people are already getting 50% of the government, some people are already getting, some people are selfish, they don't want to live for other people. Some people are looking for the tribal base. William Ruto will play with that your scheme, because with him, it was very strategic. That 2027 election is about tribal. That's why he has been saying, well, what of Kabila? Mtu wa Kabila. So we want it to be on tribal and the unifying factor of the country. So what of Kabila? And I'm seeing the opposition falling into that trap for William Ruto. They are responding to him that, no, see what of Kabila, see what I saw Gideon. No, you should just ignore and focus on how you can bring an idea that resonates with the Kenyan people. And also you should stop all these things like you want to focus on removing him without persuading people that when we come to office, we want a Kenya that looks like this particular object, the Kenya we want. You must persuade me the Kenya you want, but you cannot tell me to remove Ruto, then we will now decide thereafter. So what if I remove Ruto today and I bring in Kalonzo? And Kalonzo is going to be manipulated by the people who have put him into power, or Matiang'i. Then is that the Kenya we wanted? So it was only Ruto. So if Ruto is not there, but Kalonzo is there, or Matiang'i, now they can just mismanage power. They can misuse power as they want. They can continue stealing from Kenyans without issue, provided there is no Ruto. If that is the case, then we are not going to board that train. This must be put on black and white before elections. The die must be cast before election. We can't cast the die after election. How sure are you? How can we trust you with power that you are getting Ruto out of the office? Then we want to discuss how. No, let us agree right now. Are we going to transform this country economically? And which is the formula? Who are the trustees? Who are the people we can? But this issue of let us remove William Ruto first, then we'll discuss those issues later. I don't understand how this is going to happen. That's why I'm telling you, Ruto is just laughing where he is. He's laughing and he also is watching closely because these people are falling into his game. So the big issue here is 2 term, 1 term is constitutional rights we are enjoying. No one can direct us what to say and what not to say. We are at liberty, we can say whatever we want to say. But it is not guaranteed. Everybody is going to be subjected to nominations. Everybody is going to be subjected to clearance. And everybody must qualify for him to be cleared to run for the presidency in this country. Now, my advice to the United Opposition, if you are serious, you want to get Ruto out of office, you must be strategic, formidable, and also try to look at whatever he has done and which you can do better than him. If it's a matter of universal health coverage, what is it that you want to introduce in that universal health coverage? Or what is that you want to adjust that will be better off for Kenyan people than the SHA? If it's a matter of education, which model are you going to apply, which is going to be pocket-friendly for the Kenyan people than the new funding model? If it is infrastructure, if it is affordable houses, what do you intend to do with the rapidly growing population of the Kenyan people? If it is a matter of borrowing, what are you going to do to stop this borrowing? If it's a matter of our debts, what are the criteria you are put into place to ensure that you repay our debts? What about the issue of odious debts? You know, if you bring those arguments to the ordinary people, you are a little bit persuading them because they are the taxpayers. They understand how it is very hurting to pay tax in this country. But if you are just coming to the people that one term, priority number 1, William Ruto 1 term, but William, of course, is 1 term, he has gone. What next? Are we looting? Are we embezzling funds? Are we continuing this issue of corruption, tribalism, appointments? You understand? So until you bring the persuasive slogan and the manifesto and the strategies to the people of Kenya, then William Ruto will be trembling. But right now, William Ruto is just sitting pretty. In fact, he's taking much of his time relaxing because he is like. So, Brother Benson, in my conclusion, we should not be selfish as Kenyan leaders or as the United Opposition. They should not be selfish. They know what can make Ruto 1 term. They should act on that thing that can make Ruto 1 term. But all these things they're trying to do, they're just trying to make Ruto be a formidable or worthy opponent.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much. I can see Makubura. Makubura, how are you doing, sir?
Good evening. I'm doing good. I
Yeah.
thank God.
Are you
Allow me to
do you have light? I can see you're struggling.
No, I'm suffering, but I'm I'm believing.
Nyinyi ndio mnapata ile load shedding ile president alikuwa anasema saa 11 mpaka saa 10 saa 4 usiku mnapata kwamba stima imezimwa. Nyinyi ndio mko hiyo sehemu.
Pana ni kupigana tu na landlord hapa na pale kidogo, lakini hatuogopi. Hivi karibuni nitafanya demonstration yenye haitaaminika. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing good. Allow me to say hi to Miguda. Allow me to say hi to Laban. I can see Goodia, Judith, Brenda. I saw Osewe, Eric. I saw Philip as well. I'm just saying hi. I hope mko salama.
Tuko salama. We were just having discussion. We've talked about His Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka, the politics of Kalonzo Musyoka, where you find that majority of especially the Ruto allies, sometimes yesterday they attacked Kalonzo Musyoka about how Kalonzo betrayed Baba. And as in politics, I was just saying, because like we are observers here, we don't take sides, but we've seen some of them who are talking about, like those who really stood by ODM, they said some of the things that if you compare with what Kalonzo said about Baba and all that, our betrayal, you cannot compare, but that is politics. But today, I want to give you a rundown because we wanted to talk about the interview of the president that president had with Al Jazeera. It captures so many things, and if I can give you into summary. First of all, president was asked about economy. He was asked about the economy. He was asked about the police brutality and all that. And he put it in a nutshell. But I want to give you. President gave a rundown of things that he have achieved or he's trying to achieve, and he said that in the scale of 1 to 10, on him, based on his assessment, he feels that everything that he promised Kenyans or everything that he is doing, he can give himself 8. I don't know the data that president was using. That is his own data. So he knows where we've reached. And president talks about 4 things that he talked about that he has done. President talks about he has fixed economy. That is one thing that he has said. And he was saying that if you look right now, Kenya is in the top 10, especially when you look at in terms of the countries that are doing well in Africa economically. Kenya is in top 10 at around number 6. That is true. If you check into Google, you will get that. President talks about he has fixed agriculture, and he has given that if you look at last year, the Kenya was able to produce almost like 40 million bags. But now this year, Kenya produced 70 million bags. President talks about he has fixed the education sector, whereby he has brought in new models, funding models that has given Kenyans students opportunity to get quality education. President has talked of employing more teachers. President has talked also, he spoke about also fixing the health sector, whereby he talked about over 27 million point something point 27 million almost registered are now on SHA. That is what the president talked about. So in his interview, he talked about 4 pillars. Tony Blair, we need to talk because I was supposed to, actually I should interview you this week and we need to talk to you, my brother. I will reach out to you and we plan maybe on Thursday or Friday. I need to be here. Douglas Kibogong, thank you so much. Kenya economy was number 7 and now number 6 in Africa. That one is true. If you check into Google, that is true. About the numbers, we cannot lie about that. So that is what president talked about. Apart from that, talking about employment, president talks about, he talked about around 4, if I'm not wrong, but I will mention 3. Housing, that I say that is giving almost over 600,000, almost like giving employment to Kenyans. President has talked about digital jobs that is employing up to around 180,000. President also has talked about the foreign job exchange, domestic work exchange, whereby he has made agreement with several countries. He mentioned the Arab nations, he said Germany, Austria, which he has taken almost 430 Kenyans who are working outside the country. So that is what the president talked about. But when it comes to police brutality, president talked about, he said that the police, he doesn't give instruction to police, the police shouldn't work independently. And at that the same point, he said that there was an order that shoot to kill, shoot the leg order that president gave, remember, during the June protest. And the president, when he was asked about that, he said that he's not regretting about those orders. And at the same time, he said that he's not giving the police orders. So in a nutshell, that is what president spoke about. So Makobura, you yourself as a Kenyan, if you relate to what president spoke about and you are looking at what he spoke about and the reality, do you see, especially what the president saying reflects on what is on the ground?
Okay. Thank you so much. I've seen our good friend Tony Blair.
Yeah, we need to interview Tony, by the way.
It's been a while, and I can see him saying William Ruto will make Kenya a first world country.
Yeah.
And then you can also see our good friend Douglas Kipogong, my brother from another mother, or I don't know. He's supposed to be coming to Kenya. I hope to see him. He's saying Kenya economy was number 7 and now number 6. And I was also going through the other comments. I saw a good friend Laban singing the song of Tutam. Not forgetting, I also saw a good friend Goody asking questions there, and Kama our good friend Laban was not answering, and a letter to different. Truth be told, me, I want to be very honest. If maybe I was employed in this government, or if maybe I was being paid to either blog or to do anything, I think in my natural good senses that I was given by God himself directly to me. Sometimes, even if I'm being paid to speak nicely about the government, sometimes I can just, whenever that humanity beat comes to me, I'll actually say the truth. So I think, I don't think I can make a good blogger for the government, because most of the times I would be tempted to say the truth. But I want to say this. I listened to the interview, and I asked myself so many things. And then I remembered the conversation that JB Muturi has always had. And yesterday he was even in one of the channels, and he repeated the same things that he had talked about some times back. And he did say something that the president that you see, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, that you see, whatever he speaks, it's not what he does. And the way he sees things is not really how normal people also see things. And I remember JB Muturi saying that most of times the president knows and is fully aware of the nice, good things that are supposed to be done. But in most instances, he has taken the route of not doing the right things, and he knows. And I remember him speaking about the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya. And I remember JB saying that William Samoei Ruto, the current president we have, is one of those politicians who are campaigning against this particular constitution that we are currently having. He's one of the politicians who are against the devolution. They were against the structure of the structure that we currently have in the constitution. He wanted the imperial president, a president who had all the powers, a president who would control all the resources, a president who would expect members of parliament and leaders going to queue and kneeling down, requesting for developments from State House. Unfortunately, that is where we are. And I don't know. I don't know how we are going to get out of it. But allow me to say this. It is so unfortunate that we have a president who is elected by the people of Kenya, swore and carried the Bible. He's a Christian. And one thing I like with William Samoei Arap Ruto is that he acknowledges his religion. And most of the time, he has always encouraged people, to do what is right.
Mhm.
How I wish. I'm not, Christianity talks about not judging others because you never know what is right and who is right. But above all, the same Christianity teaches on respect of human rights and, of course, by all means, protecting lives of fellow humans. And it goes ahead and says that it is only God who gives the right for someone to live. I mean, it's the only God who gives life. And therefore, it should be God who should then maybe take the life. But not once, several times. We've had people, young people, Kenyans, going to the streets, demonstrating, reminding the president of part of the things that he swore, carrying the Bible, acknowledging the presence of God and the people who elected him. That he has, the people coming out remind him that you've not done this. And apparently, these people, some of them have been met with a lot of serious. Um, uh, some of them have been chased away. Some of them, in that process, have actually been killed. Not one person, but several people have been killed. And it was in news. And he himself, most of times, he did acknowledge, and then sometimes he comes back and then says that it was not true. The most difficult thing for those who lost their families is seeing the President of the Republic of Kenya on an international media saying that he does not regret the fact that there are some people who died in that particular shooting that happened in the Republic of Kenya. Remember, this is the same president who is currently advocating through the broad-based compensation for the people who were killed and the people whose properties were destroyed. And the question then I ask myself when I sit down is he then genuine? Is he then doing all these things about the broad base on the 10 agenda points on a willingness basis? Or is doing so as a way of campaign? Or is doing so as a way of maybe getting attention from the people of Kenya? That is the only question I've been asking myself. And truth be told, we should not at any point play with the lives of the people of Kenya. Once a leader is given an opportunity to lead, the most important thing is ensuring that the lives, the people who voted for them, and the citizens are safe.
Yep.
No matter what, as a leader, whenever you make decisions which are not right, and then these decisions ends up making the lives of the people unbearable, the best thing as a leader is coming out and acknowledging the fact that we are human beings, we are not perfect people. Sometimes we can make decisions which are not right. But allow me to finish, and then I'm just finishing. I've never seen the president apart from the time that he was forced and he went before the cameras and the people and said that he did withdraw and he apologized for whatever had happened. And sometimes I ask myself, was he even genuine coming out to do so? Because the statement that have been coming out of the president from that particular time are totally different of the expectation. And remember the people who lost their families. What are they feeling in their hearts? It is so unfortunate. All the things that the president spoke about in the interview, to me, they are not genuine. They are not the reality. Speaking about rating himself out of 10, he rated himself at 8.
8.
If you ask me, I have not personally, as a Kenyan, as a citizen, I've not experienced any big change since
So
this government took power. And rating himself at 8 would mean that he has perfected and implemented all the things that he did promise in his manifesto, which the truth of the matter is it is not true.
So when you look at the president, you're talking about the basic needs. Actually, from the way president talked, I said that he has really worked on the basic needs, and they're working because he has fixed the economy. He's fixed agriculture, with food, education, and even the health sector. And when it comes to economy, he's talk about of the hiring that he has done, and so to you, when you sum this one up, what the president was saying, you feel like this have not been actualized by the president.
My take, I'm
Yeah.
speaking for myself, I'm not
All right, no
speaking for
problem.
anybody. All those things that the president listed, to me, I would plainly put them as lies, lies before the international community or the international media, lies before the citizens of the Republic of Kenya. If you ask me today, anything that I've seen different, the only thing I can say is that when I sometimes travel, I do see some buildings under construction. Those are the only new things that I'm seeing since the president took power. The rest, I can tell you, if it is the cost of electricity, it has been piling up. I mean, it has been increasing. If it is the cost of operations, things has been increasing. If it is the cost of paying tax, the people of Kenya have been, paying more and more tax each and every year. There's, you find that there's an increase in tax. And funny enough, the salaries of the people of Kenya are not being increased. It is only being increased at the higher level. That is for the president, the deputy, and all those, the executive or whichever. I can tell you, without fear of contradiction, the kind of life that the people of Kenya are currently going through is not anything that we would expect. Having in mind that President William Samoei Ruto served as the deputy president for 10 good years, and then he took over as the president. Our understanding as the people of Kenya, our expectation is this is somebody who understood the government. This is somebody who understood all those things that would make the country move to the right direction. This is somebody who had interacted with the runnings of the executive runnings. I mean, the governance, in short. And we expected him to do much. We expected him to do better. But currently, I don't see anything positive that I can speak about. There are more things that I've observed. And one thing that I can also acknowledge, point out, the president has not respected the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya. Truth be told, in so many instances, I can give quite a number of examples on when the president has not respected the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya. Number one thing, the lives of the people of Kenya, majority, have suffered. Some were even suffering in the hands of Ugandan government. It took almost 2 months for the government of Kenya to intercede or to come up with a way of solving, bringing these people back home or solving their issues. Not once, not twice. We saw the other governments, coming public and saying it was not, they didn't know where these guys were. If we were truthful enough and we care about our citizens, then the first thing the government would have given is an ultimatum to the other governments that you have to produce these people. We never saw that. The only thing we saw the other day is that maybe the former, we do not have the facts of that. But it is not the right way. Let Kenyans, whether from the poor, from the middle, or the rich, let them be treated with utmost respect. Let them be treated with fairness. Let each and every life in the Republic of Kenya, actually we should start an hashtag of every life matters in the Republic of Kenya. Because at this rate, there are some people who are more important and are more, they feel they're above the law. And that is not a good way to run a country.
Okay, to you, Miguda, this is what the president say, and I quote. The president says he doesn't regret the June shoot to kill order against protesters, claims the law allows him to give such directive, but insists service remains independent. I'm not very well aware of the law where the law allows the president to give such orders in our constitution, because that is what he says the laws allow us. But at the same time, he says that independency remains and the police knows what they should be doing. Because at some point he was asked, are there other ways in which you can control or you can manage the protesters rather than the shoot to kill order that he said? But he said that the police knows. So maybe to you, Miguda, is there any law maybe that has been given that bestow this power to the president, especially to give such, and then at the same time, the police still remained independent?
I think he said the leg, not to shoot,
Yeah,
not shoot to kill.
they shoot the leg, kill. Yeah,
They shoot the leg.
not
So
shoot the leg. Sorry about that.
not shoot to kill. So what I understand, not that what I understand, what is in the public domain or what is right is that
Mhm.
if you look at the roles and functions of the president,
Mhm.
there's nowhere the constitution gives the president role or a function to give police orders or to order the police officers to carry out their duties. It is very distinct that the president, the head of the executive, the roles of function are well defined. When you go to the National Police Service Commission, it is independent. It's very much independent, and it's being headed by the Inspector General of Police, the IG, heads the National Police Service Commission, headed by the Inspector General. Even in terms of operationals, how they're doing their things, quotas, whatever, it is quite independent. There's no interference with any other organ. So when the police is independent, because we got the basic rights and fundamental freedoms, we the civilians, the citizens, we are the right holder. We are the people who bear those rights. The law enforcement body, like the National Police Service Commission, they're the duty bearers. They have a duty to maintain law and order. How do they maintain it? If I have a right to picket, assembly, demonstrate, the police has a duty to protect me so that I don't destroy properties, I don't harm my fellow citizens. He has a duty to ensure that it is peaceful. It is not my duty to make it peaceful, but of course, I have a right to do it peacefully and unharmed, as enshrined in the Constitution. It should be peacefully and unharmed. The police has a duty to ensure that it protects the demonstrators. And many rights we are enjoying. We are enjoying many, even freedom of movement. When I'm moving in my country, the police has to ensure my safety. The looking of the speed governor, safety belts in those roadblocks, those alcohol blows. He has a duty to ensure that I'm safe while I'm enjoying my freedom of movement. But me as a civilian, I have a freedom of movement. I move the way I like. But it's a duty of the police. It is not the duty of the president to know that in which manner am I demonstrating. The president will not come to the ground now to guide me on how to demonstrate or to check on the safety belts, the speed governor, whatever. It is the duty bearers, the law enforcement body. So that one must be understood very clear. So the president might just make statements out of anger. The president might just make statements because maybe he perceives that people are demonstrating against his government. The president also might be tricky. you must be brave. Maybe you want to make people fear you. That one also is someone can just come and make you fear him. So those things are there. And then the president is respected, and we all pay allegiance to His Excellency William Ruto, including me. I respect the president utmostly, and I pay my allegiance to Mr. William Ruto as the president of the Republic of Kenya. But there's no room for fearing that you can't critique. And when you are criticizing, you should criticizing on the policies and manifestos. That's why we are saying things like high cost of living, infrastructures, affordable houses, universal health coverage, education, but that has gone personal. So the police officers should understand that they don't form the political setup of the people. This is a democratic state, but it is the people. So when the people are putting the government on toes, you keep off. Don't come and now start doing things because you have been guided. You know you are the duty bearers. Do your duty. Let right holders and freedom holders to carry out their duties in a constitutional manner, whereby we don't step into each and any other toes. The president should not go overboard. The citizen should not go overboard. We should all have limits as we do our politics. And that's why we have been saying that this issue of criminal justice system interfering with the political setup of the country, whereby you involve the police, you involve the judiciary, you involve the DCIO, you involve the prosecutor. For what? Just settle your politics in a civil society whereby I criticize you objectively based on your policies and manifestos. Then you respond to me objectively on your gains and what you need to adjust. And don't make it look like if I told you today, Brother Benson, that you promise us universal health coverage. What we have right now is not universal health coverage. Then you send for me these detectives to my compound, then they arrest me, then they fake charges. So that is not how we should do it, according to me, the way I'm viewing at it. Let us just have a society whereby we are at liberty to do things. And I don't know why these people are fearing, because no one was even going to take the president away from William Ruto, because it's there.
Okay, Miguda, thank you for that. But like also, as you comment on that, just let us know, because like when President was having this interview, he highlighted at least 4 major areas that he's feeling, or he feels that he has done, and he has fixed: economy, agriculture, education, and health tech sector. Before even talking about that, that one was falling under police brutality. Do you see anything, especially what the president is speaking about, or it is experienced, but like because maybe of political divergence that we have, we tend not to agree with what the president is saying?
Not that we are not agreeing with what the president is saying. We are saying whatever the president has done, it is there. Even if you like the other time I was mentioning for you that in terms of roads in Nyanza, to be precise, the previous allocation of the budget, there were quite good number of good roads which were located in Nyanza. So I cannot say the president has not done, and actually there was allocation. The issue of the stadiums, you saw what happened at Mabei, the expansion of the airport, the dual carriage, and also the expansion of the Bungoma. And right now, something to you, I told you that there's ongoing stadium in Migori allocated 700 million. So the things he has done, you cannot say he has not done, or think they have allocated and are going on smoothly. We can't say that now William Ruto has done 0%. No, that is not the case. What we are saying, there are areas whereby he has at least keep the promise, and we have witnessed. But there are areas whereby we don't get things clear, like the issue of universal health coverage. Things are not here adding up, like the issue of education funding model. Things are not adding up. But also, remember that President William Ruto, at his capacity, not that the entire time he has been in office, he has just been sleeping. No. There are things he has done in this country that you can point out, even if people are saying that he has done them not in accordance to the public participation, not in accordance to the constitution. But remember, if today you are asked, show me the affordable houses, you will point those affordable, they are there. Not that they are not there. You know, even if they are saying he deducted people's pay slips, but those affordable houses are there. So the criteria, the constitutionalism process, how they should be done, the public participation might be inaccurate, but what matters is to electorate is that during campaigns, he promised affordable houses. Today, we can see those affordable houses. They are visible. So to that extent, there are electorates who believes in that he promised, he delivered. But there are such section of Kenyans who are also delving into deep that the process, the pay slips. But we will also argue that even if I deducted pay slips, but those houses are visible, that money was not taken to other things, but they were taken to houses and they are there. If you talk about the issue of fuel levy, it can show you some roads which are being maintained by that levy. So to me, I cannot just rule out that Ruto has not done anything, absolutely nothing, since he was sworn in. And remember, there's also some executive orders he has actually given out, and there's also some activities he has engaged into, which I can just say, in a scale of 10, how many can you give, Mr. President? So you can't say in a scale of 10, 0. No, maybe you can say in a scale of 10, 4, or 3, or maybe 6, but not 9, but not 10, but not 8, but not 7. So as the people who are in opposition, as the people who want to put the government to toss, you should focus on those areas, the manifestos, the policies, how you persuade Kenyans that he promised affordable houses. There are no affordable houses. He promised to deduct the pay slips, the money from the pay slips. He has been deducting those money, but we haven't seen those houses. We are paying for fuel levy. There are no roads being maintained or constructed. We are paying for the universal health coverage, but it's never universally. The people cannot pay. Government don't pay for them. So those are how we should be criticizing. But this loud music, though it tends to resonate with the voters so well, that one term, or Kasongo must go. But also, we must be factual. No, and even if he's going, even through the ballot, but remember, you must also turn out. You must come out in large number. You know, there are some constituencies whereby they're just saying Kasongo must go, Ruto must go, but they will not turn out to vote. They will vote apathy. And even my constituents, the young people, the Gen Z, the previous election, they never turn out in large number. Currently, when there was rollout of voter registration, the mass voter registration, they have never turned out to register. And you want to rely into my constituents, the young people, the Gen Z. So you see, before you make all these critics, you must also be strategic. That as we make these critics, how are we going to remove him? But just being loud, no strategy into play, the people will tend to believe what they are seeing and what they are hearing from Ruto. Remember, we have had presidents in this country before, and Ruto has just served from, I think, 3 years. But he cannot accomplish everything he promised within that 3 years. You understand? He cannot do what Uhuru did in 10 years with 3 years. He cannot do what Kibaki did in 10 years with 3 years. He cannot do what John Moi did in 24 years. What I can say, whatever he has done with this small period is satisfactory to a certain constituency who believes him. And they're saying, okay, with what we have seen him doing, even this issue of him moving across the country on a daily basis is just making some people to believe that the president is close to the people. He always comes close to the people. So maybe you might know many things. Maybe there can be issues of corruptions, there can be issues of money laundering. But also remember, we have the ordinary voters. Some people might be a bit rational into their thinking, or might be a bit reasonable. But remember also, in the society, we are all having all sorts of people. There are those people who will thrive on that wave alone. That in Africa, no president has served for one term, what they were saying by Sudi. Those people will thrive that William Ruto has never lost election since he started vying for this seat. And some people will also thrive on affordable houses because they're able to see them. There are people also will thrive on SHA. They will say, okay, provided it's there, SHA, we can pay for it. It's working for us. They will not bother about whether they have been deducted how much. So to that extent, the United Opposition still have a long way to go. They need to sit down, re-strategize, focus, formidable team, bring objective criticism, and persuade Kenyans, and persuade people that this is the right thing to do. But also, there are things that here cannot work. People say that William Ruto should be the last KANU serving. What if you remove William Ruto and bring Kalonzo Musyoka in that case? Another KANU. Is that transformation? What if you remove William Ruto and bring Gachagua, another KANU? Is that transformation? So we need to also, as citizens, look at it that if it must be one term, then one term, United Opposition and William Ruto and the gangs, all of them should go home. We clear with everybody. We clear with the Gachagua and the teams, But if we still have these two teams as strong as they are, then even if we remove William Ruto today, the other team will come and continue.
Okay, thank you so much. Allow me to read some few comments over here. Shaima is saying, I don't know about you guys. I couldn't listen to that interview till end. The first 10 minutes was enough for me. I'm allergic to lies. Okay. Ruto is bringing development to Nyanza internally. Please don't pretend you don't know. Why is he only in Homa Bay? We want Ruto to expand his reward to underprivileged areas, not where he's gathering momentum for votes. Okay. Okay, thank you so much for giving us your take. Of course, this is Brother Benson Media, and here we say that your opinion counts. If you are new to this channel, kindly like and subscribe to the channel. If you do so, it is a way of supporting us, na sisi hapa tutasema ni asante. Allow me to acknowledge the presence of a good friend, Eric. Eric is saying, no president in Kenya has ever won second term. If Kibaki and Uhuru were lucky, we must be careful in the future. Raila Odinga isn't there. He was a glue that held this country together. Okay, thank you so much. Maybe Miguda, I don't know, you are not finished giving your take, and maybe you can comment on the comments that I've just read, including this of Eric. Miguda.
I concluded. I concluded submitting. I'm just saying, say hi to Eric Ayaga, and I think their comments speaks for themselves. I don't want to comment much on what they have said. The comments speaks for themselves. I just wanted to pass my greetings to Eric Ayaga.
Okay, thank you so much. And this is a good conversation. Remember what we do here, conversation, of course, which are all geared towards the betterment of our country. We do a political analysis without taking sides. We speak it the way it is. That is what we do. Allow me to acknowledge and to say a big thank you to everyone who joined us. We really appreciate. And Miguel, I'll give you a chance to give your last remarks and maybe on anything that is still pending and your final remarks.
I just want to appreciate our viewers to come to the show, and also appreciate Brother Benson and you. Until we meet tomorrow. Bye bye for now.
Okay, thank you so much. Allow me to also say a big thank you to all our viewers who joined us this evening or this morning or afternoon. We are very much grateful for your consistent support and for always finding time to join us. This is Brother Benson Media, and here we say that your opinion counts. If you are new, kindly like and subscribe to this channel. If you do so, it is a way of supporting us. Na sisi hapa tutasema ni asante. I want to take now the opportunity to wish you all, of course, a blessed night, a blessed morning, a blessed afternoon, a blessed evening from wherever you're watching us from. We are so much grateful. And thank you so much, Good Year. Thank you so much, Eric. Thank you so much, Laban. Thank you so much, Shaima. Thank you so much, Brenda. Thank you so much, Tony Blair, Douglas Kibagong, Laban, of course. There was also I saw Eric Osewe, and everyone who joined us. We are very much grateful. Thank you so much for finding time to be with us. Allow me to also acknowledge Austin Okumu, Philip Manasseh as well. Thank you so much for finding time to be with us. We really appreciate. This is Brother Benson Media, and here we say your opinion counts. Thank you so much. See you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.